I think you might have seen this movie.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
So, from 2021, came out a couple years ago. It's a horror film.
Ooh. Okay.
This is The Black Phone.
I made you some breakfast.
What'd you put in that?
Salt and pepper.
Have you seen this boy?
My brother, he was taken.
By a man with black balloons.
I had a dream about it. Please let the dreams be real.
The Black Phone. I did not watch this.
Oh, you didn't watch
No,
it? Oh, really?
no.
I thought, because I
Is
know
this
you're...
Ethan Hawke?
Yes!
Yeah, okay. I
Yes,
saw the trailers
Ethan Hawke
and stuff.
one, yeah.
I looked up reviews for it, and it was like, it seemed like it got a good buzz.
It did. Yeah, it did. It's solid. It's solid.
It's solid.
It's good. It's not bad.
It seems a little cheesy, the premise, though. Isn't it like...
Okay, well, let me get to it. Okay.
Just get into it.
So I thought for sure you would have watched this because...
Why would you think I would be interested in this?
Because it's set in the 70s. It's shot like a 70s film. It's paced like a 70s film. It's all 70s aesthetic.
It seems very Stephen King, kind of.
Very Stephen King feeling.
Yeah.
It's well done. It's very well done. It's not a masterpiece. It's not. I would say it's a very solid 7, maybe 7.5 out of 10. But that's a high review for me.
Yeah.
That's a high ranking. That's good. So it's set in the 70s, it's filmed like that too. It's like everything is like muted and like washed out colors.
That's
like
cool.
the color palette is all like lowered.
Why did
There's
people
no
think
vibrant colors.
70s had no color? Like,
Because
why is that the aesthetic for the 70s?
Because I think it's just the film grain around that time might have been like the way they were processing the film. I don't know.
This
I
is
know
the
what
thing.
you're saying, but yeah,
why is
this
it
is
like
the thing.
there's certain cliches where it's like if it's in
the 80s,
Middle East,
you know,
it's
if
like
it's-
got
if-
the piss stain, like washed out yellow, like you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about. Like
and if it's in the 80s, it's got to be bright neon
yeah,
colors.
neon and like crazy colors.
Yeah.
But then the 70s just gets lumped
Washed
with
out.
like washed out dull colors.
Yeah.
Like why? I don't know.
It was a time of washed out human beings.
The blank generation. Yeah.
Placeholder generation.
I belong to the blank generation. Remember that song?
People were very muted
Yeah.
in their
They
personalities.
just didn't trust, after Nixon, they
Yeah.
didn't trust the establishment, the
Yeah.
government anymore. They were just like, you know what, man?
Everybody was
They
just-
took all their colorful hippie clothes
Yeah.
and burned them. And then, the rest of the 70s was dull.
Dude, everybody was just so
gray.
grainy. It didn't rain, it just grained out.
Grain.
All right. So that's what it's set in. It's got that
Okay.
aesthetic. And it's set in like this, I think it's supposed to be like a small town or a small city. And there's a string of child abductions and murders.
Okay.
And the main antagonist of the movie, the one actually committing these crimes, is played by Ethan Hawke, referred to as the Grabber.
The Grabber.
I can't remember who names him. I don't remember if it's the media that does it or it's the kids. But anyways, he gets, I believe he doesn't call himself that. I'm pretty sure it's like, that's what people start saying. It's like, oh, the Grabber's going to get you.
Oh,
I could be
okay.
misremembering this. It was a while ago I watched it, but
Was he running for office?
grabbed her in the pussy. Is that what you're referencing? Like, Jesus Christ, folks. This is what our show, this is like what episode 8 of Recently Watched, and this is what we've devolved to. Yeah. But Trump, is that what you were referencing? Yeah. Like, Jesus Christ.
How's he doing in the
You mean
primary?
President
Yeah,
Trump?
President Grabber?
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you can just do that. Anyways, off topic. We're not
That
getting,
was good. That was
we're not
funny.
getting political on this show, all right? Do you know the majority of our audience, even though we are Canadian, the majority of our audience comes from
The United States of America?
comes from fucking the Middle East, dude. We are big
Yeah.
overseas.
Big overseas, yeah.
No, it's from the States, yeah, obviously.
Okay.
Most of our listeners and most of our viewers are actually from the States.
It'd be cool if it was like Scandinavia or something like that.
Like Czechoslovakia.
Yeah. Like, how do you get on those like algorithms where you just wind up?
How do you get on those watch lists?
We're actually
we're-
huge and like,
Yeah, we're very big with like
The Balkans.
with militia groups overseas that find our banter humorous.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. That would be funny if we just for whatever reason had like a strong presence, like a strong viewership in just a bizarre country,
yeah.
kind of like Hasselhoff's big in like Germany or whatever.
Or there's Japan. There's a lot of actors.
Oh
like
yeah, there's
American
just weirdly
actors that
big in Japan.
Go to Japan. They do.
There's
like,
a whole song about it. Big in Japan.
Yeah, they do like coffee, like commercials and stuff
Yeah.
like that. We could.
Anyways, the grabber.
right.
So the Ethan Hawke's character, he kidnaps a kid, and
Yep.
he puts him in the basement, and the basement is just like stereotypical, like exactly what you'd think of like it's like all concrete walls.
Is he in a cage or is he just in the basement?
He's in the basement.
The door's
and it's got
locked.
like a big heavy steel door with like heavy duty locks.
Okay.
And it's all concrete walls. There's one window, but it's like way up. It's like a tiny little window. It's all soundproofed.
Yeah.
So it's like
This is a small kid. He can't like
exactly
break anything or
right.
yeah.
And it's all concrete walls anyways. And there's like a dirty mattress on the floor. It's like something out of a Saw movie. It's exactly what you'd think of like where a kidnapped victim would be.
Yeah.
They're going to be in one of these like kidnap rooms.
Does it from the promotional stuff? He's wearing like a mask.
So let me get to that.
Okay.
So he, the grabber wears like these. He wears like a black suit and like a top hat, and he wears these stone-faced masks that all have. They're very haunting looking.
Jesus.
Whoever
Okay.
designed the character design for the grabber is fantastic. It's very good. I like
Cool.
these like stone face masks. I think they look great. He's got like a few different ones that all kind of. I think it's speak no evil, hear no evil, see no evil.
Oh, I
think
see.
that's the
There's-
three
there's a
ones
theme
because
going
one of them
on.
doesn't have a mouth and one of them has like a big smile. I could not be remembering that correctly, but yeah.
There's like variants to
There's
the
variants to
yeah.
the masks, yeah. And
Okay.
and when he's interacting with his victims, he wears the mask.
Oh, okay.
So Ethan Hawke, like when he kidnaps the kid, he's not in that outfit. He's like Ethan Hawke.
Just looks like a normal
He
guy.
looks like a normal guy, and that's how he's able to get his kids. He's like, he has like a van, and he's like drops his groceries, and then like some kid like
Silence
comes
of the
up,
Lambs,
and then he
Can
like
you help me lift this into the
exactly, yeah, exactly. My name's Kevin Lackner. Can you help me? Can you help me move some furniture?
Help me move some furniture.
Fucking Buffalo Bill over here. So the kid, the main kid whose name I can't remember, let's call him Finn. I don't remember what it is. So like he is stuck in this basement, and there's a mysterious black phone on the wall
In the basement.
in the basement.
Okay.
And it's not connected to anything. And it's just like an old rotary style phone that's like black. And at some point, presumably at some point, like the basement was used for something else, and that phone would have served a purpose. But now it's just like hanging there doing nothing, and it's not even hooked up. And he says to the kid, he's like, "Yeah, don't bother using the phone. Like it's not hooked up anyways. Like you're here now for the time being, and as long as you play nice, I'm not going to hurt you." Ethan Hawke in this film is really good as a villain.
I could see that.
He is
Yeah.
menacing as fuck. He is so terrifying, dude. He has that understated, like, quiet monster presence.
Yeah.
Where he's wearing these masks and he kind of like talks soft spoken, like, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna hurt you. Just listen to what I have to say." But then when he needs to, he's gonna get it real dark and he's gonna talk like this, like that will come
Nice.
out, and it's like a Joker, like Heath Ledger kind of performance. Where
Yeah.
you're just like, you get those moments of like, "Look at me," and you're like, "Ugh," and it catches you off guard. But he's very good. He nails it in this. So
He's really committed to this role. Then he's like all in on it.
absolutely,
Awesome.
he is the highlight of this film. Everyone is honestly
Who's
really
the
good at
kid?
this. I can't remember the actor's name. I kept thinking it was one of the Stranger Kids things, but it's Stranger Things kids.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It wasn't. It's not like Finn Wolfhard. Maybe that's why I thought his name was Finn. But I can't remember. Everyone is good in this though. So he is now stuck in the basement, and he hears the phone ring.
Here we go.
This
All
is-
right.
yeah,
So
this-
it's like supernatural.
Yes, and I didn't know this. So, spoilers. Now it's going to get into heavy spoilers.
Okay.
So,
Spoiler noise.
if you don't want the spoiler noise, it's a man farting. if you don't want any more spoilers, skip to the next time code in the description, and we'll get on to whatever Kevin's pick is here. But now for the spoilers.
Okay.
I didn't know this. I actually never watched a single trailer for this.
No, I knew that there was supernatural stuff from.
Oh, so it is in the trailer.
I believe so, or maybe I read
It
something.
must have been.
I don't
It
know.
must
I
have
knew
been.
there was something supernatural.
It
with
must have been,
yeah.
but all I saw was the image of Ethan Hawke in that fucking mask, because I'm pretty sure it's the poster. It's
Yeah.
like him with like black balloons and that fucking horrifying outfit, which again, great character design. As someone that's a avid horror fan, if you can come up with an original creation, that's hard to do. That's like really cool and creepy looking. They did it. They got a new cool movie monster, as they say.
Yeah. Okay, so the phone rings. This kid
So the
answers.
phone rings. This is when I was like, oh, this is supernatural? I didn't watch the trailer. I didn't know. I didn't know it was set in the 70s. I didn't know a fucking thing. That's the way to watch films, folks.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
in cold, because,
Yeah.
man, you get rewarded. So phone rings. He picks up the phone, and the voice is a previous victim of the grabber. It's one of the other kids.
Like the soul of like a dead kid?
Yes. Talking to him through the phone
From the beyond.
from the beyond.
Okay.
And basically what follows, like the way this film proceeds, is there's investigators trying to find the boy because they know he's been kidnapped. They're trying to get to him.
Do we get a sense of his like family? Is his,
Yeah, so okay, so he has
his parents are looking for him?
so his mother's dead. He has a sister who's actually psychic. And she gets like
it's really supernatural.
It's
then.
very supernatural.
Yeah.
So she gets like prophetic visions, like through dreams, and she is trying to like zone in on her brother through her dreams. Like she's trying to find him. They're young. I would say they're like maybe 12, 13.
Okay.
Like these are not teenagers. They're like probably like preteens, you know? So she's trying to find him, and the way it plays out is it's almost like an escape room that he's trying to get out of this place by talking to the previous victims, because each of them has a piece of information to share with him.
Oh, that's super cool.
It's
that's a
really
great,
cool.
That's a great script.
So
or a
like
great
one
idea.
of them. So one of the kids is like, I hid a piece of wire over in that corner. Try to use it to climb up to hook onto the window grate and pull it off and get out the window. Like each of them gives him little tips and information that he uses to try to escape. And I like this. Not all of it's good info, because it didn't work out for them. Or
Well, yeah, they presumably were all murdered, right?
yeah, they're all dead.
Okay.
He's talking to ghosts.
Yeah.
And
So the idea,
but some of them also didn't get to enact their plan, so they don't know if it would work or not. They're just trying to be helpful.
Yeah.
So like I think 2 or 3 of the plans that some of the kids tell to the Finn
kid.
character, they don't work. Like the one that's like, oh, use it to hook on the window grate and you can get up onto the window. He has no way to get up to it. It's too high up and it's so small. So that plan doesn't end up working. And some of them, I don't want to spoil everything, but by the end of the movie, he's talked to like all of the victims, and they've all given him a little piece of something, and he uses it to come up with a master plan. And it's very fucking satisfying.
Yeah, that's got to be satisfying to have like this whole plan come together. where
Yeah.
you wouldn't expect this kid to escape this like adult
This monster.
serial killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about, so all the acting's good, cinematography's good. It's a very good, entertaining film. One of the other things that really caught me off guard with this film, and I actually think this is a valid warning for people. If you do not like watching violence against children, do not watch this movie.
Oh,
It
yeah,
caught me off guard. So
That's a good point. So there's actual like depictions of like torture or violence towards kids.
So no, so what they do show that's like, holy shit. So there's several scenes where like the bully kids, this is like outside of the whole main plot of him being kidnapped.
Yeah.
The like bully kids will like beat him up.
Oh, yeah.
It's like at one scene, him and his sister get beaten up by a group of bullies. All of the violence of the kids in the movie is shot like brutally realistic.
Oh.
Like it feels like something out of like No Country for Old Men, where it's just like there's no.
It's just stark showing you the brutality of what is happening. There's no cutting away.
It's stark realism. It's not filmic at all. It just feels like very grounded and brutal and real. And it's like, holy shit. Like it caught me off guard. So that's surprising. The other thing is their father. So their mother's dead. She actually killed herself. And it basically like drove their father to like alcoholism, and he's like the stereotypical like piece of shit deadbeat dad.
Okay.
And he beats his kids. And there's a few scenes of him like abusing the kids. It's like it's very uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't put that in there. I'm not saying that at all, because that is a thing and maybe it's something we need to see. But it is a warning to people that it's like if you don't want to see violence against kids, don't watch this.
It's only natural that some things like are hard to watch for some people. Like that's totally valid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the tone of this movie is blunt and realistic. It's not, it's very like at times like there's a scene with Ethan, like it gets shockingly dark at a lot of moments. Like there's a scene where at one point the kid escapes, but like Ethan Hawke actually tackles him and like is able to subdue him right before he's able to get away.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "I will gut you like a pig and strangle you with your intestines," which is like, holy fuck. Like to a kid.
Yeah.
It's really fucking dark. But my major problem with this film, this whole character should have just been removed from the movie. Ethan Hawke, it turns out, is living with like his brother, and his brother's like a drug addict, and he's like goofy, and he's like a conspiracy theorist. And
what?
Yeah. And it's like all of his scenes just ruin the tone of the movie, where he's supposed to be like this comedic relief. And it's like, why? This was a bad decision. So like at one point, the detectives are like scouring the neighborhood, and they find Ethan Hawke's house where the kid's being captive.
Yeah.
And the brother.
So there's a tense scene where they're at the door, they knock at the door, and they're like.
But like the brother, it's so stupid. So like the brother is like, yeah, I'm going to help you guys. He's like, he has like a whiteboard like full of newspaper articles and shit. And he's like, I've been following this. And he's like, I'm trying to triangulate the location of the grabber. And it's like, meanwhile, it's like, he's like, I'm an amateur detective. Like I'm helping you guys. And they don't buy anything he's saying because he's acting like aloof and wild and nuts, right? Meanwhile, his brother is the grabber. It's like, well, you're the amateur detective, but you couldn't figure that out.
So is
because he's like a drug addict.
It's played for comedic effect.
Yes, I think it's supposed to be.
Is the idea that he truly doesn't know that his brother is
he doesn't
the killer?
know. Right, he has no idea.
It's not that he's covering.
No, he genuinely does not know. He's so stupid to not see how weird Ethan Hawke is acting.
That seems like a bad.
It was a terrible decision. Terrible decision. That whole character that should have just been cut right out of the movie.
I also feel like
down a bit.
I also feel like I know it's supernatural. I know it's like hyper realized and stuff, but like if detectives came to the door and you found this like manic man that was like, yeah, I've like triangulated all this stuff, and he has like a whiteboard of newspaper clippings of like the murders, I would investigate that man. Like, why would you blow that off? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, yeah, wouldn't you be like, there's a guy who's like has all these clippings and papers, and he's like triangulating things, and he's like seems insane.
Yeah, maybe they think he's the one.
Wouldn't that sort of?
I don't know.
Have a spotlight on you? Be like, maybe he's more involved.
I can't remember 100% how that scene played out, but it was just it was a dumb. His character is a dumb addition to the movie, and it to me it derailed the tone that was being set so beautifully, and it just all of his scenes just come out at like, it's crap. It was very popular. This is where I'm like, huh? They greenlit it for a sequel.
Whoa, okay.
I don't know where the fuck you go with it, because do you want a huge spoiler or you want to watch the movie?
Spoil me, yeah.
Seemingly the grabber gets killed by the kid. So I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I guess horror movies, nobody ever really, like the monster never really dies.
No one ever
but like,
really dies.
He has this huge plan, and he ends up like getting the grabber like trapped, and then he strangles the grabber with the phone cord from the black phone.
Okay.
And like you see him seemingly like die from being strangled. The only explanation I can come up with is either somebody else takes up the mantle or Ethan Hawke was faking that he got strangled. Like,
I mean,
that's possible.
It's supernatural, so I feel like anything's possible.
Maybe.
Like
I don't know.
he comes back as a ghost.
I don't know where they. Oh,
Maybe-
okay. So one of the things I like in the movie that's like, oh, that was such a fucking cool little detail, is early in the movie, Ethan Hawke's like, yeah, don't bother trying to use that phone. It doesn't work. It's just a messed up old phone. And then later on, one of the kids is trying to explain to the kid on the phone. He's like, yeah. He's like, the grabber hears it too. He just pretends not to.
What?
So they're implying that the grabber. So the way I interpret it was that because the main kid's sister is psychic. So I interpret that he has some sort of medium ability. And that's why he's able to use the phone and communicate with the other spirits. But they imply that the grabber also has some weird ability, but he's ignoring it. I love that little detail.
Okay.
Yeah, that detail is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, yeah, don't bother using that phone. It doesn't work. He's almost like trying to convince himself he can't hear the phone ringing.
Interesting.
Yeah. The grabber hears it too. He just pretends he doesn't, which is like,
What?
That's such a neat little detail they added.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. I would highly recommend The Black Phone.
Oh, cool.
It's surprisingly good. Yeah. It's Blumhouse. You know, sometimes they do okay stuff.
Yeah,
I
sure.
actually don't hate Blumhouse because I like Blumhouse's business model is the same business model of the late great Canon films.
They're a workhorse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make a bunch of films for low budgets that are still quality, and some of them become major hits, and some of them surprise you. And for me, this was a surprise. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna definitely watch the sequel. I want to see where they go with it.
Yeah.
So highly recommend The Black Phone.
Cool. I'll probably check that out because if there's a sequel, then I'm like, where's that going to go?
Yeah. and me telling you the ending, I'm not ruining anything. It's still very enjoyable to watch it play out. I'm curious what you think. Definitely give it a watch. I thought that one had been one that cracked through your,
Yeah.
your horror defense shield.